Hi everyone, welcome to Third Coast Gaming Impressions. Today is January 31st. It is a Sunday. It is episode 16. I'm joined by my co-host Austin Taylor.
That you are.
And yeah, we've played some video games. It's the new year. There's some video games that aren't new that we both of us played, as it turns out.
Who needs to play new video games when you just have a library of video games that you can just return to at any point in time?
That's true. I beat Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I was like, oh, I could play this on hard mode, or I could go enjoy something else. And I was just like, hey, Persona 5 Royal, I got it. It was like $20 on sale. Dude, this
Nice.
game has so much style, Austin.
It really does.
I just keep coming back to it and being like, oh, I just want to soak up. Like, every moment of this game, there's just like, the music is just in the background, like lulling you into the gameplay, which is like something Persona has been doing to more and more success as like each one of these have come out, I'll say.
Yeah, like getting into 5, um, there were definitely like points where like you just be like during the rainy days. If I was playing 5 like really late and it was raining in the game, I would probably start to fall asleep. And that's not even like the game's bad or anything. That's just like that's the vibe that it's selling me, and it's very good at selling me that vibe.
And like a bunch of these songs are really good too, like Wake Up, Get Out, or Wake Up, Get Up, Get Out There, Phantom. Like the instrumental version of Beneath the Mask that just plays when you're walking around the town. Mwah. Little
Yeah.
kisses for that song, man. Yeah, I got Royal. So far I'm like 2 hours in, but like the only change so far is that you meet like I think she is her persona. She gets like a ballerina kind of costume in when you're in the castles and stuff. But she's like an athlete character who you meet on a train, and she like calls you senpai, which is like, the very anime thing of like respecting your elders and stuff. But yeah, she's one of the new characters. So I think there's some new characters. They recorded some VO in it. And I think there's an added third semester that you can do as well, which is like, I guess, their prologue or extra stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd like ever go back to that game just with the appeal being that there's more to that game. But like a lot of some of the new like social stuff that exists in that game seem in Royal seems like good. Definitely better than what was in the original release of 5.
Wait, maybe she might be in it. Is Haru Okumura in the original Persona 5? She like the fifth heist
Well,
or something?
well, now I need to Google this. Yeah, Haru is a character from the original release. They do add a new character, but I think what they're doing is that they introduce Haru much earlier in Persona 5, like as a not even as like a companion maybe, but as a character who exists in the world because she does not show up in 5 until like the I want to say second to last dungeon. And by then there's almost like no real point to her, which is a problem because you've already built up so many like dynamics with characters who you've been able to like spend upwards of I'll say 80 hours. So like
Yeah.
when Haru is introduced in the mix, it's like I've never why I definitely don't need to use her in my party. There are some benefits to using her in her party, like she's just kind of like a body that you can throw at enemies.
Yeah, here's the other character actor. Her name is Kasumi Yoshizawa.
Yes, this is the new one.
Yeah, she's new. So you meet her on a
Yeah, this is
train, and she is Sumire Yoshizawa's elder sister. Is there two of these? I don't know. There's two people you interact. I guess they're sisters. But yeah, I don't know. There's some Persona 5 Royals cool. I only played the first game till about the first dungeon, so I'm gonna see if I can get farther in this because my normal Persona thing is I get bogged down by having a day to day guide open because I'm trying to like figure out I should be talking to every day and stuff. So that's something I should try to overcome because I played Persona 3 and I've played Persona 4 and they're all pretty much open the same where it's like you I get really into like that first dungeon and then after I'm like, eh. Did you beat the first game, Persona 5, or did you get beat the regular
I
version?
did. Yeah, I finished five. Um, I mean, by the time I finished it, like I put 91 hours into it, and apparently that was a speed run because everyone else I know has put like 120 and something like that into it, and I could not ever imagine going back to Persona 5.
I think that's a pretty long amount of time. I mean I've heard of people who put more, but you beat the game.
Yeah, I can't. Because the thing is, apparently, there's some stuff within like other social relationships that you can build where you will be able to like negate the effect that sort of going into the supernatural world of Persona does to you, where like you can't do anything afterwards because you're just so wiped from going through this mine dungeon. And if you like upgrade certain social links, you can unlock a perk that allows you to just not be tired after
Ah.
Persona adventures, and so then you can do stuff for the rest of the day. And I didn't care much for the social link that was attached to, so I just
Yeah.
didn't do it. And like I can't say knowing that that's a perk I could have unlocked makes me angry because that would have required me to have been like, oh, I wanted to do more of this game when really all I wanted to do was end that video game.
Well, I think they actually do that in Royal where they just Morgana won't tell you to go to sleep as much apparently, which is a thing.
Yeah, that was just a huge thing with five was every time you wanted to do like half the time when you wanted to do something, if it was late Morgana would be like, oh, you should just go to sleep. Um, and so until you upgrade like your living space, when it's like late at night, you can't really go out and do anything. So what you want to do is you want to upgrade your living space to where you can include like a TV and like an old video game system, maybe a couple of books. I think is also an option. So you could increase certain attributes of yourself, like your guts and your I guess intelligence. I don't remember what the five attributes of that game are anymore.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited to kind of like dip into this, kind of like maybe do see how far I get, maybe beat it. Who knows? We'll see. You've been playing Knights of the Old Republic though, the original one.
Yeah, yeah. BioWare's 2003 uh, take on Star Wars, set a couple of thousand years before the original trilogy of movies. So this is a sort of a D&D like hack, right? As a lot of RPGs were and are, I'd say. And this is heavily based on like second edition, like advanced second edition D&D. So like the kind of rule set that you'd see in like a Planescape type scenario, where you play as a customized like soldier. You have three technical roles, but you play as someone's in the service of the Republic, um, and your immediate thing is that you are attacked by bad Sith who are waging a war against the good Galactic Republic, and you have some crazy adventures as you seek to stop the evil Lord of the Sith, Darth Malak, who is just a taller and less cool version of Darth Vader. Um, as you sort of see, and he just harasses you as you go around from planet to planet looking for pieces of a star map that will lead you to the Star Forge, which is the big secret weapon that the Sith are using to win this war. and it's fine. It's very much a 2003 like early 2000s take on Star Wars, where like it's very uncritical of the Republic as a system of government, because it seems like the Republic is always getting like attacked and like having to deal with like separatist conflicts that you see in like like in Knights of the Old Republic and then in the prequel trilogy. So like that being a frame of reference for how this government works, like maybe some actual change needs to happen here, but that's never anything that Knights of the Old Republic is going to deal with.
And
Because
what
there's the
this?
good
I
guys.
remember this being really big because it was like only on Xbox and PC, like a couple months after. Which I was like, I
Yeah,
want
this
this on my PS2 really bad, but
yeah, it's like when this came out, this was in 2003. There was Black. This was published by Microsoft partially, right? So this was only available on PC and Xbox systems and was never released on the PlayStation. And like on Xbox, it's a big thing with Xbox at the time was that they wanted to push Xbox Live as a service. So if you play Knights of the Republic while connected to Xbox Live, you got access to a new area that's on the base game,
oh,
which is a space station right off of Yavin that sells you some very expensive and rare gear, like pretty good armor and weapons that you don't really need because the only people who are going to use like the weapons you buy are like the party members that you gather. Because you gather about nine, and three of them are Jedi, and you really only ever need to use those three people.
gotcha. Overpowered as it turns out.
Oh yeah, because like you have a couple of smugglers, like a couple of air quotes scoundrels is what they're called. You have some soldiers. Like the soldiers are good for like tanking hits, right? But the thing is with Jedi, they can also tank hits, especially if you've like spec to one of the three Jedi classes that you can spec to later is like a Jedi Guardian, who's like the big like combat Jedi, and they gain a lot of health like per level, and they can also just become tanks. So at no point in time do you really have a need to use people who aren't Force users. And so it makes so much of the party completely redundant and pointless, especially the droids. And sort of the other thing that I'll say as I've been going through this is, man, we had really low standards for what good game writing was in 2003.
Yeah, is it a little cheesy or something?
Yeah, I mean, it's very cheesy, very campy, like very, like the most critical it gets of like the Jedi is like the Darth Revan thing, is like Darth Revan and Darth Malak, these were the two Jedi who were heroes of like the Mandalorian War, which is a war that precedes the events of Knights of the Old Republic. Um, and then they came back and now they're bad. And it's like, maybe like for a moment, there are moments in the game where it's like, maybe we shouldn't have empowered two like laser sword wielding wizards in the way that we did. But it's very quickly like forgotten about because it's just like, no, they were just the bad wizards with laser swords. Now you can be one of the good ones.
Yeah. Um, I played two. I like two a lot. I remember
Two,
you're trained by like the old lady Jedi who's blind or something.
yeah, well, Korea. Okay, so like getting into two, like he plays a different character. You're the Jedi Exile, who is a general in the Mandalorian Wars, who cut themselves off from the Force, because they like unlike Revan and Malik, they feel the Force in a way that no other Jedi does, um, and they just didn't like it. And then like the most of two is like being retrained in the Force by Kreia, who's this like I'd say very like libertarian Jedi, in her philosophies.
Or what I would call maybe a gray Jedi as well. If that
Sure,
is
but
accurate. I don't know.
kind of. Not like Grey Jedi in the same way that like one of the companions from the first Knights of the Republic, a Jolie Bindo, is a Grey Jedi. Um, but she's just very much like Kreia is this sort of like only the strong survive, So like if you're not helping people to become stronger, then you're wasting your time type deal. She doesn't believe in like charity. Um, which is wild because there'd never be a character like that in the first Knights of the Old Republic. Like Knights of the Old Republic is a game where your first real moral choice is who do you give a plague cure to? A saintly doctor who will give it away for free, or do you give it to like the local mob boss so he can make a profit?
Yes.
Yeah, whereas in two it's like you gain dark side points by not like giving people information, right? If you just sort of omit the truth from a statement, you'll gain dark side points because you're just not respecting the agency of your companions.
Because you're a bad dude. Let's see. Those games are cool. I
Yeah,
definitely played the Mass Effect games more than those. I mean, those were like my stepping stone, being like, oh, this is like, KOTOR 2 was Oblivion or Obsidian, sorry, but like being like, oh, these are the people who made those RPGs. I should totally get into Mass Effect and dig this music.
yeah,
Um,
like Coder was definitely like my sort of stepping point to like if I saw the name BioWare on a box, I'd buy it. You know, Obsidian didn't happen till later. Like when I got to a point where I would say of the two, I definitely prefer the second game. Um, but now I just sort of recently just got out of the mode where if I see Obsidian's name attached to something, I'll buy it.
yeah, that as well is a good thing. I played two other games, Austin. I'm just gonna let you
Yeah,
know that.
what else did you play?
I played this fucking. Okay, so there's this game called Rec Room. I think it was originally a PC game, and it came out to PSVR, but they made it free to play as just a game you can play with your controller without a VR headset. This game's bad, Austin. I thought this game would have something a little more. Okay, so you're doing co-op missions, and it just has friendly fire on. It's supposed to be like a hangout thing, kind of, and it's
Yeah,
kind of like Roblox, where you have some like custom generated like maps or dungeons you can do stuff in. But I was playing something, people were just shooting me, and we were all respawning. And then I was playing some paintball game, and it was just trash. And all these children were yelling at me, Austin. All these children were yelling at me about I don't fucking know what, Austin. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
I mean that's
You
love
ever
online gaming.
do you know what this game looks like at all, Austin? Have you seen Rec
I've
Room? Let me
heard
send you this
about Rec Room in the
image.
same way that I've heard of like Live Brush, you know. Um, yeah, this seems horrid.
There are all these people who look like Rayman. They all just have like floating hands and like their head is floating and they don't have legs. It was weird. I uninstalled it. I thought it'd have something interesting like VR chat would or some like interesting stuff, but whatever. I skipped it. And then I just like ended up replaying Payday 2 because it was like $5 on PSN. Maybe if I play more of it, I'll remember more of it. But I played those games on PS3 when they first came out. They were like by the Overkill studio, who Payday 2 was like inspired by Left 4 Dead, and very much the same thing where it's like it's a co-op game with, and it always has to have four people, but
Yeah,
you're robbing banks instead of shooting zombies, and they work to a certain degree.
yeah. I remember I didn't play much of Payday 2. Most of what I played regarding Payday 2 was like the demo that was available on Xbox Live, which was just the one bank,
It's
right? So
like
like
the
the base
first
bank.
world bank or something I've been
Yeah,
called.
which is just like this sort of like five. I want to think like 5 room bank, like one story, where your max payout was like a couple of like let's say below like 50,000.
And you have to like drill into something
Yeah,
at some point.
you have to drill into the like this large vault, and it just takes forever. And that the thing about that game is that it just requires everyone be on the same page in a way that I didn't see a lot of when I played it. Like there was one instance where I was playing that and like, you know, part of that loop or that level is that you need to like be taking hostages in the bank, right? Because the more hostages you have, the longer it takes for the police to mount a an assault on the bank. And the result will also be like weaker and not last nearly as long as if you don't have hostages. And one of the people there was just shooting hostages, and it like pretty much soured that entire game for me.
It's kind of a bummer. I do remember having like good times with this. It was just something I played on PS3. I was like, it must have been like a couple years after high school, and I was like, oh, I'm way into like this as like I would be in like a Left 4 Dead game where I'm just like replaying these on like harder difficulties, and you have like a progression tier where you're like unlocking like better guns for your criminals and like more armor and more loadouts and stuff. And John Wick is just in Payday 2 as a skin, and you can put a mask on him or you don't have to. I don't know. But I
Yeah,
forgot you can just body bag people up and just like throw them into things because there's some like sneaking stuff where it's kind of like Hitman where you're like outside of some compound, but instead it's four people trying to get into this fucking compound. There's like one mission where they're pretending to be a bunch of tech repair dudes, and you have to do some like menial tasks in between, like hacking into servers and shit. So I don't know. I
yeah,
might
like
I
it's
might jump in and play a little more. You know, if I
yeah,
could gift people stuff, Austin, I would gift you this for $5 so that we could both experience a payday. Uh-huh.
yeah. I don't. It always seemed I don't know as it built up and got like bigger, and the more I saw like promotional stuff that was happening in the game, I did like begin losing interest. The last time I remember liking the look of what they were doing with Payday was like when it came onto Switch, and there was like this new operator you could get that had like some weird, mostly digital mask, um, which seemed like cool.
Yeah. No, man, I remember just playing the first one a bunch. I'm just watching some gameplay of it right now. Holy shit. Taking me back, Austin. Maybe I should find it on Steam. I might do that. I'm gonna try to play the medium next week. I don't know if you have. Oh, and Nuts. I'm gonna play these Nuts, Austin. This fucking squirrel hunting game called Nuts. I think it comes out in like 3 or 4 days. It's, I'm into it.
Yeah, if we want to go ahead and set like goals for ourselves as far as what we play, dang, I don't know, man. Probably sit down. Probably will finish Coder. Um, Definitely see about messing around with like probably a manifold garden a bit more, but I'm not gonna I don't have much around on my libraries that like I want to commit to in that way.
Well, I'm looking at this. There is like apparently like 5 years of DLC for Payday 2 on here.
Yeah,
There's a Yakuza character pack. There's a John Wick heist. There's a Scarface heist. The fuck happened to this game? There's Hotline Miami 2 stuff.
yeah.
What
I
is
mean, yeah,
this?
it's a big thing with Hotline Miami too, is you got masks.
It's true. Give me more masks. I need more masks. Oh yeah, the dude with the chicken. Yeah, you just get the chicken mask. That's cool. Oh man, I wonder if the PS2. Well, I guess the PS4 version just has all this stuff. I think it's like the Ultimate Edition or whatever. Did
Yeah, the
Payday
complete.
2? Yeah.
Which I don't remember. I remember hearing that it didn't work that well.
What, Payday 2 on PS4?
Yeah,
It's fine. It probably ran just as fine on PS3. I remember it. The shooting can be a little off. There's not as much aim assist, but it's totally all right. I think that first game came out in like 2011. Yeah, 2011. Yeah, I was still in high school. Holy shit. Big mood. All right, that's it for the podcast this week. We'll be back next week to talk about some stuff. I'm at Travis23Doyle on Twitter. Where can people find you at, Austin?
On Twitter, you can find me at Beardless2, DWO.
All right, till next week. Don't blow up GameStop stock again. The stock market might crash, which is a good thing. I don't know. Maybe do that. I don't know.
No, keep stealing money. Keep stealing. Keep taking money from hedge funds.
Just don't fuck hedge funds. I don't know. Whatever. Till next week.
Yeah, no, keep messing with hedge funds.
All right.
These are the people who caused a market collapse and profited off of it and faced absolutely no consequences. Keep taking money from hedge funds.
Keep doing it. Do the do, not the donkey.